So, gas prices are on the rise again. Nancy Pelosi seems to think that drinking and saying that the Democrats are going to take both the House and the Senate is a good thing. Our military is on the brinks of collapse with no new members. I'm going to cover this stuff and a whole lot more today. I'm Laoch, and this is Laoch's When the Hammer Drops. Okay, so first and foremost, let's talk. I have to, folks. Let's talk about Nancy Pelosi and her little rant on, whatever CNN, whatever the fuck she was on for her speech, by saying that the Democrats are going to take the House and the Senate, and they're going to even increase their lead in both of those. This right here, folks, is a sure sign of propaganda. Number one, nice little psyop there to get you to pretty much not go out and vote because, basically trying to give you no hope of a Republican winning. Don't believe it. Nancy Pelosi has been kicking back the gin and juice again and, probably driving around with her husband, getting DUIs and getting off of them. So she's full of shit. Don't believe a damn word she says. Make sure next month you get out and vote. If you're not sick, if you can walk, if whatever. Don't mail in ballot. Don't early vote or early vote, whatever. Don't mail in ballots. Fuck that. Get your ass up, go and vote. Now that I'm done with that, Joe Biden also, I don't know what it is with the Democrats this week. You have now, Joe Biden, he talks about how getting the COVID vaccine is going to save your life. It is a good thing to get the COVID vaccine because with Hurricane Ian coming in, because it will save your life. How is a COVID vaccine going to save your life? Everybody I know, or people that I've heard of, and all the research I've done has shown that the COVID vaccine is killing people. Go figure. But yet they don't want to admit to it. But hey, go get the COVID vaccine because Pfizer, who owns the CDC now, is losing money because my dumbass said that the COVID is over. Right, Joe? That's essentially what it is. I mean, you're not getting kickback now, huh? You fucking retard. Sorry. So, and then you have Gavin Newsom out in California, which if you don't know who Gavin Newsom is, let me explain who he is. He's Nancy Pelosi's nephew. Go figure, right? Batshit crazy, just like his aunt. Probably a drunk, just like his aunt. And, what he says others must do, but he doesn't have to follow, same as his aunt. Well, he is now trying to tie the hands of all the medical profession doctors in California by saying that they cannot no longer give advice or talk about in negative ways about the COVID vaccine. Again, I revert to Joe Biden saying that the pandemic is over. So what is the big deal now? Why can't doctors advise their patients on how they need to? Now, if they do, they're at risk of losing their medical license because, it's just another way to silence the masses. Because, again, like I've said before, they don't want you to know what's actually going on. They can't hide the numbers anymore. People by the droves are dying from this vaccine, and they don't want to tell you. So now they're going to try to silence you, and that's exactly what they're doing here. It just amazes me that people aren't opening their eyes. Oh, and while I have you for a second here, if you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify or any other podcast platforms, please do me a favor. Go down right now, give me a 5-star review, and because that's going to help me in with the algorithms to get this and my other episodes out to the masses. Thank you in advance, by the way. So back to the show. So yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, it's crazy. And then now you have the American Medical Association. They sent a letter to Big Tech and DOJ asking to censor and suppress people who question gender surgeries for minors. The public, they're saying that the public criticism is disinformation. One, How is it disinformation? Tell me how talking to your kids, because there was an actual interview with another child that went through the process of the sex change and all that. And he or she, I'm sorry, regrets every minute of it because they are at the age where they don't know any better. Their minds are still very persuasive. And the teachers and the doctors know this. And yet they continually try to push this. Folks, you know what? I'm just going to say this. I'm sick and tired of these. I don't know. I don't want to fall on the same line, but I guess I want to call them satanic people brainwashing our kids to thinking that there's something that they're not and pushing for this garbage. You know what? If they're 18, 19 years old and this is what they want to do, if they're an adult and this is what they want to do, so be it. Let them do it. I'm all for it. But until they're at the right age to be able to make that decision for themselves without question and logically, you need to leave them the fuck alone. I mean, let's be real here. Just leave the kids alone. Let them be kids. Let them go to, picnics and go to the park and all this other stuff. Not confuse them at the times where they need to be developing their minds. And the whole reason why they're doing this, this is just a communist tactic of dehumanizing the population, which is a common tactic that Russia has done. China's doing. This is all part of China. And this, I shouldn't say China, the CCP. Xi Jinping and the CCP. This is what they want. Dehumanize the population so it's easier for them to take over. And they've been doing this for decades. Don't believe me? Do the research yourself, folks. I always say it. I always want my listeners to do the research, and I highly suggest you do it. But follow the rabbit, and you'll see. I mean, this is just, you lower the population number, you lower the amount of children that are being born by confusing and taking away the one thing that allows the children to be able to do that. And once they get to that age, they're going to regret doing it, which many have and many are. But your mainstream media isn't going to report that, and they're going to silence that. So, folks, save our children, stand up for them, and don't let your schools and anybody else dictate and teach them this garbage. So, yeah. I don't know if anybody hear of Dr. Lynn Flynn. She's a founding board member of the Global COVID Summit, which gathered over 17,000 signatures from doctors and scientists opposing COVID-19 shots for children. She called for an end to the vaccine mandates during a speech at the Defeat the Mandates rally in D.C. Twitter has actually repeatedly banned her because she fights for early treatment, informed consent, and medical freedom. So that right there, I mean, that's showing you right again, Twitter and all your social media is revving it up to silence people speaking out against the narrative. And COVID, unfortunately, is still a narrative. And unfortunately, I know with this episode, when it goes live, hopefully my hosting site doesn't decide to put it on YouTube, which they probably will, and I'll get banned from YouTube again, which I don't care. I haven't put up a video on YouTube in a while because, quite honestly, I'd rather bring my stuff to Rumble because they don't try to silence you there. So, YouTube, this is me telling you to fuck off. So, with that being said, yeah, so, okay. So, here's some news for you. Did you know the U.S. Army fell about 15,000 soldiers, or 25% short of its recruitment goals this year? That's crazy. But it's not surprising considering with the woke agenda that's happening now and people being let out of the military because they refuse to get the jab because it goes against their religion or whatever. They don't want to be a test rabbit, so to speak. So they kick them out out of the military. So, and unfortunately, you have some of the generals that are in charge right now are just so for Biden and his bullshit, mandates, whatever. They're just all up Biden's ass for whatever reason. They got rid of all the good generals for a reason. They're doing this for a reason. I mean, our military has shrunk. This is stuff you're not going to hear about on mainstream media. You're not going to hear about this on Fox. You're not going to hear about this on NBC or ABC or CBS because they don't want you to know. This is real shit, folks. That's 15,000 soldiers we have lost just in recruitments. Now imagine how many soldiers we have lost from the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force because they refuse to get the COVID vaccine. And you see where our numbers are at for our military. It's going to be very hard for us to, if we even go to war, to be able to do anything because the soldiers that are still there are the ones that are just puppets for, unfortunately, a lot of them are puppets for fucking, they don't even realize it, which is sad. It's just, I hate to say it like that, but, I'm still going to support our military men and women for everything they do because they protect this country and our rights. I just hope they continue to do so. But, I can't blame people for not wanting to join the military now. Why would you? I mean, now if you join the military, you got to deal with, it's fine. If you want to be gay and join the military, go for it. I'm all for it. You're protecting the country. You're doing the right thing. Go do it. But now you have to worry about, it's okay if you're transvestite or transsexual, whatever the hell you want to call it. The woke ideal, their ideas, you have to deal with that now. And why would anybody want to have to deal with that shit? When you're lucky to get paid when you first start out, $1,200 a month. I mean, it's bad enough with this high inflation where the Pentagon's telling the military families that, okay, go ahead and go and, apply for food stamps and stuff like that, because we're not going to pay you more. I mean, haven't these people done enough? Our men and women in the military have done enough. They don't deserve to do that. They don't deserve to have to go and collect food stamps. I mean, why the fuck are we taking care of them and their families? But we can send billions of dollars to Ukraine. Or we can let all these people flood our borders. I think we're sitting at 2 million, over 2 million now or something like that in 2 years that have been caught. Like I said on my previous episode, over 5 million have come into this country since Biden has taken office. That's the population of Ireland, folks. I mean, let's put that in perspective. 5 million people. And they're going all over the place. And if you look on social media, I mean, you have a lot of people, they're, violence, drunk driving, a whole slew of stuff. But that's okay. Not to mention, it's on the taxpayer dime that we're, especially with Texas, it's on the Texans' taxpayer dime to send these people to all these other cities and states all across the United States because they don't have the room for them in Texas. And they want to have these Democrats, honestly, see what the hell's going on. They're sanctuary cities. They get the money. But you know what? As soon as they come in, yeah, we're sanctuary city. Come on, you can come over. You know what they do when they get there? Ask Mayor Lightfoot, what'd you do, Mayor, on this Beetlejuice? Oh, that's right. As soon as they came into the city of Chicago, you sent them out to Elk Grove, which is, 20, 25 miles outside of the city? Elk Grove has nothing to do with Chicago, but you sent them out there. But, that's okay, right? So, guys, the UN Secretary for Global Comms, her name is Melissa Fleming, says, and I quote, "They own the science on climate change." Yeah, okay. hold on. And opposing viewpoints have now been pushed down in search results through their partnership with Google. The whole reason why they're doing this, folks, is because they're trying to silence it. All right, weather manipulation has been around for a very long time. It's not hidden anymore. Look up, do Google search cloud seeding, and a whole slew of stuff's going to pop up. I mean, China boldly admits to everything. You know, they had an empty lake, and they're seeding the clouds to make it rain in that one area to fill that lake back up or a river back up. It's no secret anymore, folks. Look up, but they're trying to hide it. So look up cloud seeding, do some research. And also, if you ever get the chance, I think it's climate, I want to say it's climatechange.org or something, something like that. I'll put a video up on my, on the Facebook page, but it's crazy because it actually shows Hurricane Ian and kind of how it was like. I mean, if you do any research on weather manipulation, you'll see it and how it was controlling the path of the storm. And it's weird because the reason why I say this is if you looked at Hurricane Ian, when it first was coming, it was saying how it was supposed to hit here, here, and here. But if you actually looked at it and didn't really pay attention to what the hell was going on with, the regular weather people who sign non-disclosure agreement on certain things like weather manipulation, but you can see how the way this hurricane was tracking, it was doing a zigzag. And it wasn't supposed to hit Fort Myer, and it direct hit Fort Myer, and the eye was over that area for 8 hours. Now, the whole state of Florida is been ravaged with storms, from tornadoes to the hurricane to the floods, everything. So don't let UN Secretary, don't believe her when it says that, basic weather manipulation isn't true. Look up cloud seeding, do some research. I mean, it's right there, and then you can actually learn about HAARP and what HAARP is, and why Russia wants Alaska back so bad. That's just one of the things. So, oh yay. Now that brings me to China. So I'm going to talk about China here for a little bit because there's some interesting things that you guys do need to know about. So China, I said this in the previous episode about how they're redoing the railroad ships. Now, what a railroad ship is basically a ferry, but it's a big ferry. And this thing can hold more equipment than one of our largest aircraft carriers. So let me put they've been running in the China Seas, doing these exercises with these railroad ships. And they have many, many railroad ships, many of these ships that can hold a lot. Now, I want you to sit back and think about this for a second. If they were going to actually just use this for, I don't know, Taiwan, I mean, that's just overkill, right? I mean, if they're got this kind of equipment, it's for something bigger. So I'm going to keep my eyes and ears on China, because China and the whole Xi Jinping thing was basically a hoax because they wanted to see who would leak it and, just propaganda. So, but this is going to be interesting to follow because they're not planning, in my opinion, to invade Taiwan with that kind of, firepower, so to speak. There's just no way. And speaking of China, did you know that China, our good friends over in China, have decided to open up multiple police stations throughout the US and Canada to monitor Chinese people? Who the hell in their right mind would allow China, of all people, of all countries, to have police stations here in the United States? I mean, Canada, we can't do anything much about, but that doesn't surprise me about Canada because they've done military exercises with the CCP in Canada. But now the US are allowing them to have police stations. How is that going to work? This Biden, I mean, this is all Joe Biden. Well, it's like, why isn't Joe Biden stopping this? It's the same reason why Joe Biden's not stopping the Chinese from, or the CCP from buying up farmland. See, here it is, folks. When it comes to the farmland, if you control the food, you control the population. And China has bought up a lot of land when it pertains to farms. Bill Gates has also, he's the leading person, the leading American that owns the most, farmland in America. And he's the one that, thinks that everybody should eat synthetic meat. I mean, come on. You don't think he's not in bed with the CCP? I mean, WEF, the World Economic Forum, come on. They have their meeting, and I bet you Xi Jinping's down there along with all the rest of them. Like, how can we screw with our people now? Let's do this. I mean, this, I don't know what else to really say about that. It's really crazy that to think and fathom that, that the Chinese now have police stations over here and it's okay. Our government's allowing it. And this is from the New York Post, folks. So, now again, if you are listening to this and you're still listening to it, do me a favor, drop on down, give me a 5-star and give me a review. It helps me get, along with the algorithms, to get me out to more people, and more people need to hear this kind of things. So if you can do me that solid, I'd be appreciated. Now, here's something. So the Satanic Temple, okay? This is really crazy. And this is why I have to kind of refer to the left as Satan, satanic, I guess, because now the Satanic Temple is going after the states. Like, I think they have lawsuits against Texas, Indiana, and Idaho over abortion rights, saying that it violates their religious rights. How does abortion violate their religious rights? That's just fucking creepy. I don't know about you with it. And then where's the Catholic Church at on this? Why aren't the Catholics or, Catholicism or whatever Christian, why aren't they firing back with this? I mean, I thought it was against the Christian religion or Catholic or whatever for abortion. Why aren't you guys speaking up on this? Where's the Pope at? Why isn't the Pope saying anything? Oh, that's right. The Pope's more worried about getting all the Vatican employees or members to have all their money transferred over to the Vatican Bank. Wait a minute. Why does the Vatican have a bank? Why does the Vatican need a bank? I don't know. It's kind of crazy, ain't it? When you think about it, it's like, wow, what, I can see it. I can see why, all the countries need banks and all that stuff and whatever, but why does the Vatican? I don't know. And the weird thing about that aspect is that they announced that right around the same time that China was about to do a money dump. So what did the Vatican know? Is the Pope like is Xi Jinping like the left hand of the Pope? I mean, but who knows? But again, where are they with this whole abortion thing? They have been so silent on this. It's kind of eerie in a way. You would think that, good-hearted Christians would be in an uproar about abortion, but apparently they're not. Apparently they don't care, And again, I'm going to say my stance on abortion because I'm pro-life, okay? I am pro-life. But when it comes to rape, incest, the well-being of the mother, stuff like that, I'm okay with getting the abortion. If those criteria is what it is, get the abortion. But if you're getting an abortion because you don't like the sex of the baby or whatever, I guess another thing I could throw in there is if the baby is, if something's wrong with the baby and it's gonna, and there's a reason for it because there's something wrong with the baby that's gonna be, real bad or whatever, then I guess I can see it as well, because you shouldn't be burdened with that. And I get it. But if it's for a bullshit reason, like I don't like the sex of the baby, then go fuck yourself, have the kid. That's just my opinion. So, and you know, everybody's entitled to their opinion, I guess, right? You may not like it. You don't have to agree with it. But my show, and I'm going to tell you how it is. So, now don't even get me started on gas prices here real quick. I was about to let this show go, but I have to mention this. Gas prices are getting crazy again. And I guarantee you they're going to try to blame the hurricane, number one. But we're not doing any drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, so why would it be that? Or wasn't Nord Stream 1 and 2 because they blew up? Interesting. No, has nothing to do with Nord Stream because that's more for the UK. Anything to do with Russia shutting down that Austria pipeline? No. How about, let's see here. Ooh, what about OPEC stopping manufacturing about 1 million, gonna manufacture about 2 million less barrels per day? That might be it, but I still don't think so. Joe, do us and America a favor and allow our oil companies to start drilling again. We need the energy. We need the gas. I don't know about you. I mean, yeah, you don't drive anymore and you don't have to pay for gas. But the gas prices are getting out of control yet again. And here we are coming into midterms. And how are you going to win anything if our gas is so goddamn high? But I guess that's for another time, right, Joe? Now, I think that's where I'm going to cut it off here, folks, because we're pushing the time here, and I'm, I still got to think of an episode name, so that's going to be an interesting one, and you'll probably, yeah. So, anywho, folks, I want to thank you all for listening today. I'm going to provide all the links for all of our social media spots that you can find us at. Definitely make sure you go there, subscribe, like, follow, and once again, go to whatever platform you're listening to the show on, give it a 5-star review. And again, because that's going to help me, everything that you guys do, whether it's liking the Facebook page, liking the Instagram page, sharing the information, sharing the pages, giving me the 5-star review, it's going to help me beat the algorithms because let's face it, with what I talk about on this show, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, they all want to try to keep me silenced. And I need your help, folks, to break that silence and break that algorithm and get out there to more. Until the next time, folks, you be good to each other.